Good rising, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee Talk with Karen B. Sorry I'm late. I had to, my dog. Sometimes he makes me late. I love him, though. He's worth it. He's a good boy. So, anyway, here I am, finally. And it is the beginning of the second week of 2024, and all hell's already breaking loose. It's pretty crazy. So today is Moonday, January 8th, and the moon is 9% waning, almost a new moon phase. So that's cool. Maybe I'll try to go take some star trail pictures during that new moon phase and get clear star trail pics. Let me see hi to some people. Good rising. On Rumble to Matrix 6, and on Rockfin, Scott Hunter, Carrie says snow day, Moonday. Ooh, it's cold here, but I still don't have any snow. I am Mayan's cat. Mifa Monday, make Earth flat again Monday. That's pretty funny. Tony Coriolis, good to see you. Anson Howard, Rose 777, Dean HD, Benny Boy. I am Ion's cat. Thank you for saying that. Good times for all. Good to see you, Zach. Alpine Endeavor. Chad Preston Official. Aisling 717. Hi, Cammie. Hope you're feeling better still. Hope you're all feeling better over there. I know you guys were feeling sick over there at that house. I hope you guys are doing better. Feeling better. What did they launch? 5 times 1,000. Earth first, space later, Thunder Chicken, Keto Cheeto, commercial sound and video. There you go. Hey, what's up, dude? Chris Sheepak. I don't even know if I say that right. Sheepak. Rem is such a good boy. He is. Disciple of the Messiah. Good to see you. Zulu One, Scrotal Xerox, Spicy Sarah, Free Flow. Hey, Free Flow. Good to see you. Got 12 inches of snow and my snowboarder, your snowblower shit the bed. Had to shovel a 100-foot driveway. Oh my god, that sucks. Hey, Richard B, good to see you. Hey, John Keeley, good to see you. That yellow spider guy. Hi, yellow spider guy. Ooh, Sarah, nature walk? I want to do that. Anyway, how's everybody doing this fine Moonday morning? Healing vibes to Cammie. Yes, thank you, Carrie. And there may be some other people on some other platforms chatting. I think you guys... Let me see if I can see all the chats. I'm only seeing YouTube chat. Anyway, whatever. That's where you guys are all talking most of the time anyway. We just got a metal detector. Oh, that's right, Cammie. You said you were getting a metal detector. I want to go on a metal detector walk. Look at me, I just brushed my hair like 5 minutes before I came and got on stream. Because you know what? Whatever. Whatever. I don't know. Should I even bother putting on any makeup? Maybe not. Maybe at this point I should just forget about it. So, some meetups coming up this weekend, just to get that out of the way early on. Saturday, January 13th, 2024 at 6 p.m. at Mad Jack Sport Cafe in Minnesota. Minnesota, with Shaking Hands with Strangers meetups. They are under recurring meetups, along with a few others. Oh, and also Shelly. Shelly said she had a great turnout to her meetup. Let me see if I can go grab that picture and show it, because I like to show that. Let me go look her up. There we go. There we go. Look at that fine bunch of people. This is the turnout to the Flat Earth Meetup in Palm Bay, Florida, which is one of the regular meetups on the Flat Earth Festival's website. So if you are in or around that area and you want to meet other like-minded people like you, there you go. Go to the park, hang out by the flat water, and meet some cool people. I want to go. You guys have to take me with you. Sarah and Cammie and Zach. Cool. Oh boy, YouTube's gonna give me trouble today, I think. Ugh. Why? Not getting any warnings. Is it still showing? Glowbusters was awesome this week. I missed it. I missed it because I don't know. I've just been trying to stay off stuff, but I can't help it. I'm like I keep going online anyway. But my weekends are the time where I get to hang out with Ted, because now Ted, he's off every weekend because he got that new job, and it's pretty awesome. So now, like, I like to spend weekends hanging out with Ted. Yeah, bring it to Karen Land, man. Let's have a barbecue. Oh wait, it's cold outside. Damn it. We can do something else. Okay. Yeah, now it's saying excellent connection. And I didn't change anything, just so you know. I did not change anything. Okay. I just booked a cruise through Europe, which ends in Amsterdam, so I get to visit Stephanie and Sander and hey, Richard, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Bonfire at Karen's. Yes. I have a lot of wood, lots of wood to burn. Does anybody want to come and chop some wood? Does anybody want to come chainsaw on some fallen trees in my woods? They keep falling and we don't have time to clean them up. We need to burn them. We need to have a big bonfire and get all these trees off of my trail. Howdy, D-Hoop by 77 on Rumble. Yeah. Sawmill. Well, you know, we thought about that, but I don't have a sawmill, and I don't really want to buy a sawmill, and that's expensive, and it's not like I'm gonna keep using a sawmill. So I don't know. One of the trees that, and the tree that fell is like this old pine tree, and it's like half rotten. I don't even know that it's even worth trying to sawmill that. It's all the way down the hill, on the creek, on the other side of the creek. So like you have to go get the equipment down the hill on the other side of the creek, and then if you were ever to use it, you know, if you wanted to get the wood back, then you have to get it back up the hill. I mean, I think it's easier to just burn it all. If a big tree falls on the front side, we could talk about it. But back there, burn it. I chop wood for venison chili. Well, if I had venison, I would make you some venison chili. Hello, Chicago artist. Just stack for firewood if it's good wood, yeah. I'm actually going to do some chainsaw slabbing in about an hour. Oh, that's cool, yeah. This is like, but where these trees are, you have to go down this like steep hill. Because it's like my house is like, my property is not flat. It's mostly wooded and there's a hill, okay? And then the house is on the hill. And then behind the house, a little ways, the hill goes down and there's like a creek down there. But you can't really get anything up and down the hill. You just have to walk it. And it's kind of a steep walk. Like if it's covered with leaves, it's slippery and you can fall. So I don't know. We just need to have a big fire in the woods. Or unless you guys, no, you don't burn pine in a fireplace. That's why I'm saying you just burn that out in the woods. I have enough lumber in front to build another house. I do. But yeah. Unless you want to build cabins. I do think it would be fun to build little outdoor camping cabins down there back by the creek. I think that would be fun. It'd be like little cabin getaway, but just back there. Not a forest fire. No. Well, here's the thing. It's not as dry here in the southeast as it is other places. So forest fires are not as common here. And plus, like, we take rakes and everything and we rake it all up and we don't just like burn it wherever. I have this giant fire pit down there. It's probably like a 10-foot diameter fire pit that we made before because a long time ago, this big beech tree fell back behind there. That's the big one that was across the creek that is in the Unveiling This Realm intro. You know what I'm talking about? It's in the Unveiling This Realm intro. The one where we're walking across that log. That thing is all rotten and in half and like almost gone now. But that big tree fell and it had 2 trunks. So it was almost like 2 big trees fell at once, and they just kind of fell like that, you know, over the creek. There we go. See if I can play it. This old? Is this the original one? Oh yeah, wow, this is the first unveiling intro that I ever made. This does not have... Does this have that? No. This is the old one. Let me see if I can find it. Is this a flashback? Pine rots fast, just cut a path for your trail. Yeah, but the thing is, it was a huge freaking pine tree. It was a huge pine tree, and the thing, when it fell on another tree, and it was leaning on another tree for a while, right? And I told Ted when we saw it leaning on that tree, I said, that tree's gonna fall too. Everything's gonna fall. I said, it can't stay like that. Well, it was kind of gnarly and precarious, and he didn't really feel comfortable going in there and trying to saw it down, and I don't blame him because it was pretty crazy. Like that, the pine tree back there is like for the pine trees on my property, it's probably one of the biggest pine trees, right? It's not like a California pine, it's like a regular soft pine. It was like that big around, it's huge at the bottom. I mean, I'm sure it lived its lifespan for the kind of pine tree that it was. And it fell, leaning on another oak tree. That oak tree eventually cracked, and then it fell, and then when those fell, other trees fell, so it's not like just one tree laying across the path. It's like freaking 3 of them. It's like 3. And then on the other side, more trees fell. So there's actually like 6. There's probably 5 or 6 trees back there right now that are down and like in the way. A tangled up mess like that is dangerous. Exactly. So we left it for months, and then eventually it all just fell. So this one, see, it's already starting to rot. That's why it fell over. Wake up. The Matrix has you. Truth has been hidden. You want to know a fun fact about making that video? The part where I'm going across the tree, the video's playing at 100%. The part where Brian's going across the tree, I sped it up. Because he was like, this is crazy. So I really did run across the tree like that. And I also ran across it the other way. That one I sped up a little bit. I forget how much. Just a little bit. Together, we can unveil it. Happiness. Yeah, right, Cammy? The all is mind. The universe is mental. I haven't watched this for a long time. Ow. I gotta stand up. See, my back's been bothering me too. That's why I haven't been hanging out on the computer. As above, so below. Change this. I'm gonna stand up. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. Everything moves. Nothing is at rest. My back does not like me sitting at the computer. Or maybe my chair just sucks. How's this stream? Because I keep seeing issues. missed this jam. I do need lumbar support, Rose.
All things are dual. All opposites are reconciled.
I want to make a new cool intro like this. This was fun.
The ebb and flow pervade the all.
Hey, Free Flow. Thank you for the super chat. Listening to this is making me happy right now. Sorry. I hope you guys like it too.
Everything happens according to law, karma, and dharma.
Yeah, the sun's coming back. Word went around the horn.
All things have feminine and masculine energies.
Oh, elements. I moved to South Carolina to be warm. Dang, 2021 now. I forgot about all that. It's been a while since I've watched that.
Unveiling
This
realm. Unveiling
this realm. How fun. I missed that. I missed that intro. Sorry that I just subjected you all to that. I don't know what made me turn that on. Oh, it was talking about the tree. Yeah. Oh, by the way, so the other thing I've been doing, sorry I didn't do any Friday streams. I know I've been trying to do like a semi-regular Friday morning stream as well. But man, like I said, my back was trying to teach me a lesson this weekend. 33 degrees. So I had to take care of my back and do a lot of stretching and use DMSO and some other stuff. Oh. So I think I'm gonna stand for as long as I can here. Might have to adjust my mics here. I don't know if I can. I think I'm gonna so anyway, that's another thing I've been working on. I'm going to move my office into the upstairs space now that that space is free. And I'm going to change things up. I'm going to get rid of these mic stands. I'm going to redo everything and give myself much more room in my streaming environment. And set up a little studio. I might be able to even do like in-house interviews because it'll have like a whole space. It's going to be awesome. Where we can like sit on a couch and table and just chit chat like, you know, like almost professional style. almost. Almost. You know, I've been working on stuff in the background. I've been trying to, over the years, like build up my my equipment list so that I can start, you know, I really want to do higher end stuff. You know, I want to make things more interesting. Hey, Nathan Reed. Grand Rising, Lord Racer. So anyway, that's what I've been doing. I've been working on that stuff in the background. You know, I got the camera already, which is my pocket cinema camera and equipment for filming thing that you see here that says 62% of the goal. I already, you know, pretty much forked out the cash. I made the investment, you know, but every little bit that anybody wants to help so that I can, you know, get things going, it does help me move faster if I can get anybody to help pitch in and donate to my endeavors. You know, if you believe in me, if you believe in what I do, you know, and you have the means, you know, I appreciate any and all help. $5, $10, whatever, you know. I've got stuff brewing in the background that I'm not really willing to talk about publicly yet because, you know, you can't be giving away all your gems for nothing. You know what I'm saying? I already learned that lesson like 100,000 times. So anyway, let's talk about the crazy train that's been going off the rails since this whole year started, okay? So what happened January 1st? There was a major earthquake in Japan, and that was crazy. It was like a 7.6 crazy earthquake. I shared some videos on Facebook about it, and in my what do you call it? Telegram group, which is called The Rebellion. I shared some videos about it. Right here, some of these. Right, these crazy earthquake videos. That's a gnarly earthquake, very first day. Right? And there's like a big old jolt that happens in the middle of that thing. And so you can see, you know, they had a tsunami warning. They had a little bit of a tsunami, but I don't think it was as bad. I don't think it was as bad, obviously, as the previous one that they had a few years ago, but it did cause some disruption. And then, oh, this video right here trips me out because it's settling. You can tell the ground is settling after the earthquake. Hey, what? Look at the bricks. And then it goes back into place. It's just such a trip. Hey, what? Anyway, those videos they trip me out. But, oh, here's another one. Well, I don't want to play them too many. Yeah. They're telling peeps to get the 8th booster. Really? Oh my god. I use leg lifts and Superman woman first thing in the morning to cure my back. Yeah. Take a swig every time she says you know. Do I say that a lot? Now I'm gonna try not to say it. Yeah. Okay, so then the next day, I don't know if you guys saw this. Japan Airlines has a major crash, right? And what happened was, there was a Japan Coast Guard plane. A Japan Coast Guard plane was on the runway leaving this airport, or trying to leave this airport trying to leave this airport to go provide aid to the area that just had the earthquake. And then what happened was an incoming Japan Airlines flight was going down the runway, and they had this, they were telling this plane to hold position and wait for this plane to land. Well, they were in the wrong place, and when this plane they landed right on top of the Coast Guard plane, and it killed 5 people. But everybody on the passenger plane, it was like fully loaded. Everybody got off the plane alive, which is amazing. That's amazing. But that's the next day. I mean, then the whole thing just burned to dust right there on the runway. But they were able to get all the people off. So that's amazing. Oh, thank you, Carrie B, for the tip. Appreciate you. Woodland elf. Burrow worms on deer. Now that looks trippy, right? So that happens. And then, what is this garbage with the mall? I never really did look into this. Obviously, I don't think there's any aliens. Was that in Miami? Miami Mall incident. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Alien speculation engulfs Miami Mall after curious New Year's Day video. However, I saw the pictures and stuff. It didn't look like an alien. It did look like a shadow, like from a low light, that made it look like a tall walking figure. At least that's what I accept that as a plausible explanation, rather than there was some Nephilim alien walking around in a Miami mall. Like, so ridiculous. So ridiculous. Wonder what they say about it. Should I play this video? I know this one. I know what that one said.
2 days before Christmas. As everybody knows, on December 23rd, a targeted attack of violence occurred inside the Paddock Mall, resulting in the loss of David Barron's life.
Oh, this is something else they're talking about. Oh, there was a deadly mall shooting. Yeah, so, I mean, here's the thing. There's some, like, rampant, like, crazy surge of crime all across the country. Could this possibly be related to the, like, thousands upon thousands of immigrants that have been coming into the country and that they're sending all over the place? I mean, to me, it really seems like there's covert actions in place to, like, sort of try to destabilize, you know, the cities and cause all this, you know, upheaval. That's all they heard the whole time. Anyway, oh, you know what? I forgot to open the phone lines. Hold on, let me open my phone lines. And then if anybody wants to call in and you want to talk about whatever, I got a few things I do want to talk about today after this, but I thought it would be funny just to recap. I mean, it's only been a week. I think it's only going to get better.
Welcome to the conference center. You are a host.
All right, so if anybody wants to call in, the number is 848-222-2480. Same number as Strange World. So, yeah. Don't be a coincidence theorist, right? But you can be a pattern recognitionist. How about that? What's a coincidence? Kids had fireworks, yeah. What you mean is what's a coincidence? Oh, you're talking about what I'm talking about with the immigrants? Yeah. I'm water. It's time America woke up to the Kalergi plan I learned of about 10 years ago. What's the Kalergi plan? Is that something you can search? I've never heard that before. Kalergi plan. Let's see what Sheeplepedia says. Let's start with Sheeplepedia. The Kalergi plan, sometimes called the Kudinov-Kalergi conspiracy, is a far-right, anti-Semitic, white genocide conspiracy theory. The theory claims that Austrian-Japanese politician Richard von Coudenhove-Kalergi, creator of the Pan-European Union, concocted a plot to mix white Europeans with other races via immigration. The conspiracy theory is most often associated with European groups and parties, but it is also spread to North American politics. Stems from Kalergi's 1925 book, Praktischer Idealismus, Practical Idealism, in which he predicted that a mixed race of the future would arise. The men of the future will be of a mixed race. Today's races and classes will gradually disappear owing to the vanishing of space, time, and prejudice. The Eurasian Negroid race of the future, similar in its appearance to the ancient Egyptians, will replace the diversity of peoples with a diversity of individuals. Modern far-right individuals seek to draw relationships between contemporary European policymaking and this quote. The independent Italian newspaper, L'Inchiesta, investigated the conspiracy theory and described it as a hoax which is comparable to the fabricated anti-Semitic document, The Protocols of Zion. Yeah, the Protocols of Zion, those might even be a fake document. Or a procured document, you know, one that was made in very much in the same vein of like these big things that Rockefeller puts out, right? Talking about, oh, how we're going to make the world better. But it was like meant to, you know, to sway the masses in a certain way. The Southern Poverty Law Center. Oh my God, this place is so corrupted. The Southern Poverty Law Center. Described the Kalergi plan as a distinctly European way of pushing the white genocide conspiracy theory on the continent, with white nationalists quoting Coudenhove-Kalergi's writings out of context in order to assert that the European Union's immigration policies were insidious plots that were hatched decades ago in order to destroy white people. Hope, Not Hate, an anti-racism advocacy group, has described it as a racist conspiracy theory which alleges that Coudenhove-Kalergi intended to influence Europe's policies on immigration in order to create a populace devoid of identity, which would then supposedly be ruled by the Jewish elite. Well, I mean, you can't rule it out. Can't rule it out. My mom was telling me some stories of recent daytime robberies in her town, ending in homicide at 9 a.m. Holy shit! Where's your mom at? I mean, have you seen Oakland? Oakland is a disaster. They took the sports teams out of Oakland and it just went down the freaking tubes, turned into a complete shithole. I mean, oof. There's this guy I follow on Twitter who does walkthrough videos with this little drone, this little mini drone that follows him as he walks through these areas. Man, when I lived in Oakland, in fact, I found my old driver's license that has my Oakland address on it from when I lived in Oakland for like not even a full year. But dude, I never saw anything that bad when I lived there. And it was not good when I lived there. You know, that was a rough area. And now, oh my God, you would not catch me anywhere near that place. I'm just saying. Look up Kalergi Prize then. Merkel received the latest Kalergi Prize. Is that a real thing? Israel creates the wars to then overrun Europe. That's a conspiracy theory too. I don't see any hoax with the crime going up anywhere. It all goes back to Zionism and Bolshevism. Oh, wow, Canada. Jesus, I'm here for truth, ? But it seems everyone is just as lost in the truther community. What do you mean? There's a lot of lost people in the truther community. Look, this is why I don't say that everything I say is truth, but I like to debunk stuff that is obvious BS to me. You know, actually, that's part of what I wanted to talk about later today was these memes that people share, these posts on Facebook that people share that are so dumb, so dumb, so dumb. You know, and it's like, and I don't understand it because here's the thing. You know, 8 years ago, 7, 8 years ago, early on, you know, I would spend a lot of time on Facebook, you know, debating with people, you know, going back and forth with people, trying to figure stuff out, blah, blah, blah. And I remember saying some shit that was stupid that to this day, that now when I think about, oh, I remember saying that. I used to think that too. And now I know that it's dumb. Okay. Like all space pictures are fake. Like even the amateur astronomer ones are fake. Like they're not. There are really things in the sky that you can take pictures of, right? And sometimes if you change your spectrum or whatever, you can see different weird shapes and auras and galaxies and blah, blah, blah. And there really are things there to take pictures of. The thing is that nobody knows what they are, how far away they are, or what they really are made of, or anything about it, just that they're lights in the sky, right? So I used to think that in these amateur astronomer groups, I'd be like, oh my God, these people are sharing fake pictures. Well, they weren't. They were taking real pictures of things in the sky, but the lie is what those things are and how far away they are, and them being, you know, billions and billions and billions of light years away, whatever bullshit story they want to tell you about it, and pushing the whole globe lie. But the reality is they're just lights in the sky. That's all. They're things for us to wonder about. They're for, you know, signs and appointed times or whatever. It helps you know the seasons and where you are in time for that yearly cycle, right? So that's what it is. But I used to think, I remember getting in arguments very early on when I first got into flat earth. I was like, you're sharing fake pictures, but they weren't, you know? So it's like, there's a learning process because once you wake up and you're like, oh my God, the earth is, you know, and you've come to the realization where you've exhausted all those questions and you're like, okay, well, I've exhausted all these questions and I've looked at all the evidence and clearly the earth is not a ball in space like they've been telling us, right? So then that kind of makes you go, well, what else, right? And that's a natural question, right? Well, what else are they lying about? Well, the answer is a whole freaking lot. But the problem is that now that you have, you know, sort of learned that all this stuff is a lie, now your job is really hard because the lie is interwoven with truths and everything everywhere, right? Because they have to put some form of truth in what they're telling you, or else you would never, ever, 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 ever buy it, right? You would never go for any of it. It would be obvious that they were lying because all of it would be a lie. But they have to lie about things and interweave truth within those lies and twist things and make it indiscernible to fool you. And that's what they do, right? So now, you know, you're like asking this question, well, why? What else do they lie about? Okay, well, that's a good question. You should be asking that question. But now you can't just assume everything is fake or everything is a lie. You have to, it's a case by case, tedious unraveling, long and tedious deprogramming of everything that you were programmed over your entire life. And you have to go case by case and you have to, with a fine-tooth comb, pluck the truth from the lie with everything. You can't just blanket, you know, wipe everything because then you're going to be screwed and you're really truly starting from zero. And then, you know, that's really a setback. So you have to figure out, well, there's going to be certain things that are true, that you know, do make sense and are what mainstream says. And then there's going to be a lot of things that are not. And the hard part is figuring out what those things are and deciphering what is true, what you can, still reference as true or accept as true or true enough, versus stuff that is a blatant lie, Why not talk about the pedophilia running the earth, expose the liars and not the easy stuff? Do you think I want to talk about pedophilia every day? God, what a fucking downer. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but we all know that pedophiles run the world. Like, yeah, there's pedophiles everywhere. It's disgusting. But like most people here are pretty much aware of that. I don't feel like I need to belabor that point. Like, we all know the people in charge are shit. The government is 100% corrupt. Clearly, there is some darkness in charge of what's going on in the major parts of the world. Darkness has the majority of power or perceived power right now. But what am I supposed to do? Just sit here every day and go, pedophiles, death, they're killing you, just like every day? I hate that. Fear porn, peddlers who just beat you over the head and yell at you every day. Like, okay, I can see the place for that, for people who need to wake up, but I already went through that phase. I already know what's going on. And now, you know what? I want to focus on making things better. What do we do to make things better? How do we exist in a world where this other stuff exists, where we don't necessarily have the power to squash it and put it out of existence right now and just overnight change the world, right? It's a process. Just like it was a process to get us here, it's going to be a process to get us out. How do you change the world? Well, you educate yourself out of it, just the same way that you were educated into it. And this is how you do it. You take control over, raising your own children. You take control over, whatever it is they learn early on. And you teach them what you think they should know, things that you felt you should have been told when you were young. Maybe give them the foundation you wish you had instead of the lies that you were told. And then through attrition and through, us taking self-responsibility for our families and for our education and for our well-being and for our jobs, supporting each other, networking, then we can build a system within a system, and we can start, making things better at a smaller level for ourselves. And then that grows. It's like, things don't just change overnight, and things don't change by me sitting here yelling at the camera every day that pedophiles run the world. So flat earth every day. Hell yeah. Flat earth every day. Every day the earth is flat. Every day more people need to know that we do not live on the cartoon Spaceball. That we live in a place that was created for us. That this place is here for us. We are the center. Everything that happens here matters here. Right? We have to be responsible for ourselves. Hell yeah, every day, flat earth. For open-minded people, I didn't attack you. How did I attack you? Can somebody please tell me how I attacked this person? Did I attack them? Somebody please tell me how I attacked that person? They claim to feel attacked. Yeah, I'm totally not pissed. The flat earth is the foundation, right? It literally is the foundation of truth. It's the literal and figural foundation of truth, right? It is the very place where you stand. It is the place where you walk. It is the place where you raise your family. It is the place you give birth. It is the place you love, the place you fight, the place you hate. Literally, it is the foundation of everything. So yeah, it matters, right? Don't you need to know where you live in the universe? Don't you think it's important to know where you live in the universe? I think it is. I think it's hugely important. Hugely. I also know that just because you know the earth is flat, it doesn't make you a good person. Right? But this is where I like to focus my time on. This is my focus, okay? I don't need to go off into fantasy land because there's plenty of real stuff going on here to talk about, and there's plenty of real stuff to deconstruct and build on. We don't need no fantasies. The people did? Oh. Yeah, I don't see anybody attacking you so bad. You know, I just think it's funny that people come into the chat to a live stream and then they want to tell you what to talk about. Why don't you just go make your own channel and talk about... If you want to talk about pedophiles every day, make your own channel. You can call it, I talk about pedophiles every day, or I expose pedophiles, and then you can talk about it every day. It would be great. And the flat earth is why I don't worry about BS as killer asteroids. And exactly, because you know that space isn't trying to kill you. It's fantastic. Hi, Stephanie. Can't call in. Want to talk about the moon launch last night. Not expected to reach lunar surface. There's a moon launch? Okay. Let's see. Oh, here we go. First U.S. moon landing mission in decades launches with NASA science. Humans remains on board. What? They put humans remains on board? A towering new rocket has taken flight carrying what could be the first commercial lander to touch down on the moon. The first lunar landing mission to launch from the United States is 1972. The Vulcan Centaur rocket, a never-before-flown model developed by United Launch Alliance, a joint venture by Boeing and Lockheed Martin, roared to life at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida at 2:18 a.m. The launch vehicle soared through space for nearly an hour, expending its fuel as it ripped away from Earth's gravity and sent the lunar lander into Peregrine on its way to the moon. The Peregrine spacecraft separated from the rocket and began its slow journey to the lunar surface. If all goes according to plan, the lander could touch down on the moon on February 23rd. Oh, on 223, huh? Reverse of 322. Pittsburgh-based company Astrobiotic Technology developed the Peregrine lander, named after the falcon that is the fastest flying bird in the world. Blah, blah, blah. The space agency paid Astrobotic $108 million to develop Peregrine and fly NASA's science experiments to the lunar surface. But the space agency is just one customer among many for this reason. The Peregrine is also carrying human remains on behalf of two commercial space burial companies, Elysium Space and Celestis, a move that sparked opposition from Navajo Nation, the largest group of Native Americans in the United States. The group contends that allowing the remains to touch down on the lunar surface would be an affront to many indigenous cultures, which regard the moon as sacred. Celestis offers to carry ashes to the moon for the prices starting at more than $10,000, according to the company's website. $10,000 to have your ashes put on the moon? I feel like that's really cheap if they're doing what they say they're doing, which we all know they're not. I mean, what a scam. Hey, I'll put your ashes on the moon for $10,000. Me too. Me too. I can do it. Oh my God, it's so dumb. And supposedly they already have somebody buried on the moon. Isn't there supposed to be like an astronaut already with his ashes on the moon? The Navajos are pissed. They want to take some dead Indian and drop him on the moon. No, I think they're saying because the moon is sacred. I don't think any Indians want to go to the moon. So what's up? Is there a video? Let's watch it.
T-minus 10.
This thing, remember them old school vibrators? They look like.
5, 4, 3. We have ignition. And liftoff of the first United Launch Alliance.
The moon is more special than a crystal? How do you know the moon isn't a crystal? I'm pretty sure it is made of crystal, if it is a physical thing at all. Sarah, did the preppy girl still wear topside when you... How long did it take in 1969? Wasn't it like 3 days or some stupid shit? Yeah, now they say it takes weeks to get there, and then they get back fast. Crystals are not dead. You know what, Jesus? You know, want some truth? If you think crystals are dead, you're retarded. You are literally retarded. Crystals grow. You don't know shit. No wonder you're in here messing up my chat. Because you're dumb. What do astronauts even do besides not go to fake space? They go on TV and they brainwash small children. They get paid to do bullshit commercials.
And we have cutoff on the SRBs, coming up on jettison in approximately 30 seconds. 15 seconds, SRB jet, BB4s, continue to operate nominally. Seeing expected PU activity on the booster mains. And we have separation.
I feel like this video is really
Everything looking good. BE4s continue to operate normal.
low res
Coming up on 2 minutes into the mission.
for even what we usually get.
Now 17 miles in altitude.
We just heard confirmation of solid rocket booster jettison. We have about 3 minutes until we reach our next mission event, booster engine
No,
cutoff.
it don't get any better.
And we see booster PU correcting towards a nominal MR. Everything looking good. Both engines continue to burn normally.
Crystals are dead. Magma, lava, no life.
And we now
Not all crystals are made of magma, you fucking retard. You know, see, this is the problem.
fire the power valve.
This is the problem. People don't know shit about crystals. They get told that they get that gypsies look into them to tell your future, and that they're like hippie trippy dippy, like, oh, you're gonna connect you to the star seed, you're a star child, and all this ridiculous shit. Okay? But the truth is that crystals are like the key, the freaking key to how this realm works. Like, it is so obvious. Like, look at everything that we use. Every piece of technology is made from crystals that we dug out of the ground. Metal is a crystal. Quartz is a crystal. all of this stuff. It's all made and synthesized from things we find in the ground. Like, it is literally the key to everything. These things have properties that we use and have been using for hundreds and hundreds of years to power things. Like, are you kidding me? People are so ignorant. You are so ignorant. This is why there's people running around saying that all mountains are melted brick buildings. I mean, seriously. Oh my God. Goodbye. Just go away. Maybe they mean crystal meth. Yeah. All, like, everything, all technology. Oh my gosh. Remember this video I found, Cammy, that I showed you? Oh, look. See, here's some stuff about crystals, okay? And how they're used in technology. You want to see some shit? Look at this. This is 1943. Historian pictures the preparation and manufacture of quartz crystals for radio communication. (1943), and you can see how they all used to have all these ladies with their painted nails working with all the crystals and shining them and testing them and polishing them and getting them ready to be used. It's fascinating. This video is like 40 minutes long. I don't think I'm going to play it all, but...
is rock crystal or quartz. Quartz is brilliant and clear in its pure form, but it takes on colors and tints when it contains traces of impurities. Quartz grows in many forms and makes up a very large part of the crust of the earth.
A very large part of the crust of the earth. Like, literally, when people talk about silicone, oh, there were these giant silicone pillars in the past. You know what a silicone pillar is? It's a quartz crystal, because quartz is SiO2. Oh, I got a caller. Thank you for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Hey, Karen B. Tony Coriolis.
Hey, how's it going, Tony?
Hey, doing great. Out here in my park, it was freezing this morning. I got like frozen stuff on my slide, so it's especially cold out here in Arizona.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And hey, I am a little disappointed in the community just because Mark tried to bait us. And I wish I would have stayed up long enough, but Mark's intro to Strange World, talking about the Chinese zodiac from Coffee Talk last week.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was so funny. And I wish someone would have called in and kind of stirred the pot again a little bit with some more Chinese zodiac talk, but no one did. A little bit of a bummer. I should have stayed up and tried to call in.
Yeah. I was happy that Mark listened, though. He got a kick out of it.
Yeah, totally. 100%. Yeah, he definitely listened to the whole thing. Okay, I did want to say that, okay, so I mentioned how on Coffee Talk number 93, we talked about Chinese zodiac, and then now this first one of this year, we talked about it. And then the elements for the Chinese zodiac, that's something that I never really looked into myself. I was just like, I like the numbers of it and how like there's friends and enemies, and then they also got the secret friend and everything. But the elements actually is very interesting. So I just typed in on Google Images like Chinese zodiac elements, and then there's actually like, I guess agreements and disagreements between those. Like there's matching ones and there's counteracting elements. Have you heard anything on that?
No.
Yeah, if you just type it in on Google Images, it comes right up and it kind of shows you the arrows. So it kind of like skips a year, and then I think you get along with that element. And then like it goes, 12 years off, is the same Chinese zodiac, but then it ends up being like it goes in a cycle of 5, so it links back up again at 60. Then it's gone through all the different elements and animals. So it goes in like a 5-year cycle. The elements go.
Yeah.
Just how last week you said that Jupiter goes on a 12-year till the return. Is there anything 5 years off the bat that you know of?
I don't. Not off the bat.
Okay, well, interesting.
I'd have to look into it. I'd have to look at the
Yeah, for sure.
planet years. But basically, it's just whatever. If you like, we can even look up real quick, like planet. How would you look it up? Planet years to orbit sun. Or orbital periods of the planets. That's what we need. Okay, so.
Okay.
So Mercury, a year is 87.97 days, so basically 88. Venus, 242. Earth, 1, obviously. Mars is like 2 Earth years, and then Jupiter's 12. Saturn's 29.5. Uranus is 84, and Neptune 164.8. So no.
Yeah, nothing
Jupiter.
for 5.
Yeah, Jupiter is the one that's the most. Yeah, that's the significant one, I guess. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, totally. Okay, good intel yet again, Karen B. And as I said, the science lab is going to open up at some point, so I'll keep on. That's a big question mark I have, and I'm into this stuff. So let me see if I can find anything.
All right, cool. Right on.
Yeah. But I did at least realize that since it changes every year, so I'm a water monkey born in 92. There's not going to be another water monkey until 2052. If that makes sense to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just found it interesting, so I was dying to call back in with that little tidbit. Well, hey, I'll be short today, but I am going to meet Mojo Shop in Valley Park tonight. So that should be fun.
Cool. Wait,
yeah,
on the
gonna
East
meet them
Coast?
over on the other side of town. So
Are they in?
What's up?
Are they in Arizona?
yeah, they're in Arizona and
okay,
got
cool.
it all set up. Yeah.
Right on.
Well, all right, I'm gonna keep on doing my normal bullshit here at work. It's not too bad, but I'll see Valley Parks and Mojo Shop tonight. Peace out,
Awesome.
Karen B.
All right, peace. Take care.
Later.
That's pretty cool. See, you guys. You guys has the meetups. Okay. What are you guys talking about? I know this guy tried to tell me to Google if crystals are alive. GTFO, okay? I don't expect Google to tell me the truth about that. That's one of the major lies. Like, clearly that's one of the major lies. Clearly. Clearly. Crystal clear. Okay? Okay. Meetup. Okay, crystal dishes is not the same as a crystal. As an actual crystal. It's just a type of glass that is made using some quartz, which makes it a better glass, but it's not actual crystal. Glass is amorphous. Yes, I'm saying crystals are alive. Why do people die with crystals? I don't know anybody who's died. Well, first of all, ain't nobody getting out of here alive. Nobody's getting out of here alive. Second of all, crystals do not kill people. In fact, I think they actually help save lives for timekeeping, like pacemakers and stuff like that. I mean, you are so ignorant. So ignorant. It's hilarious how ignorant you are. Firmament crystal cult, yeah? The firmament's definitely crystalline. The outside of this realm, this whole physical place, all matter that takes a solid form is technically crystalline. Just so you know. Okay.
It is also known under other names such as amethyst, agate, and rose quartz. Once used principally for decoration, it is today more than a thing of beauty. When cut into tiny pieces, it controls the frequency of radio transmission and reception. Crystal wafers, precisely cut from the natural mineral, set the radio channels for the armed forces, much as push buttons select the stations on home sets. They do it more simply and with greater accuracy. In war, they provide quick and certain means of communication between fighting units. While experimenting with piezoelectric crystals during World War I and seeking a method of locating submarines, Professor Cady recognized in quartz the key to the hair-splitting accuracy which crystal controls provide for radio today. Piezoelectricity, a property of quartz and of certain other crystals, was discovered by the Curie brothers of France more than a half a century ago. The problem of getting radio plates out of the rock can be understood by considering this wooden model.
This part's interesting right here.
We desire a little square plate cut at just the right angles of...
So this wood right here is a model of what a quartz crystal habit looks like. So a natural quartz crystal will grow in the shape of this wood, and it's a model to basically illustrate where they take what the very specific cut. It's a very specific angle because crystals grow in a form and in a very organized lattice form, right? And it has different refractive properties depending on which angle, you know, it's all very, very precise, and it just grows like that, which is mind-blowing, okay? So they have to grab this, the crystal they use for radio, you'll see.
Of tilt and of turn with reference to the natural boundaries of the perfect crystal. The crystallographer speaks of axes which are perpendicular and parallel to some of these faces. We have to saw through the quartz at angles which are exactly right to have the finished plate behave properly in the radio set. The plate whose boundaries are traced in pencil on this wooden model is known as a GT cut plate.
So you see, the plate that they cut to use in the radio is cut at an angle. It's not a natural angle that the quartz, you know what I'm saying? It's like they're taking and using multiple angles, right? So that they can extract the piezoelectricity from these quartz plates.
Because of its particular orientation in the mother rock. Holding angles of cut to extremely close tolerances is one of the cardinal principles of good crystal plate manufacture. Precise orientation seems simple when the quartz has its natural faces. Fortunately, even in rough faceless quartz, the layer structure of the atoms is still there as a guide. This structure can be picked up with X-rays. In the receiving room of the factory, the cases of rough quartz are opened and a preliminary sorting and inspection of each piece takes place. Practically all quartz used in the manufacture of radio crystals comes from Brazil. Its value to the nation is so great that each bears a label of its importance.
Damage to this vital warm material is sabotage.
The quartz is roughly sorted according to size, shape, presence or absence of natural faces, and quality. We do not find many ideally shaped quartz crystals in the shipments. Crystals that show more than a few of their original faces are uncommon. With most pieces, these faces have been broken off in mining. Others have been rounded and smoothed by rolling on the bottoms of streams. A few are fairly symmetrical with faces clearly formed.
But all of it is quartz. All of it.
Sometimes quartz has a reddish appearance on the surface, and occasionally it is a smoky color throughout. But color is of little importance in making radio plates. After preliminary sorting, there is a thorough inspection for cracks, optical twinning, inclusions, and other internal imperfections.
Right, because they're using it for its mechanical properties, so they can't have it has to be a very good piece of quartz. That wafer it's got to be of a certain standard. And you'll see that, you know, they'll make these plates. Let's see, it's a long video.
The grades and sizes after being classified are placed in storage trays, and these, quickly identified by color or other means, are stacked ready for manufacturing.
By the way, they also note, and I don't know if I'll play it or I end up skipping it, but just as a side note, the color of the quartz doesn't make a difference. They don't care if it's amethyst or if it's smoky, if it's pink, whatever. It just has to be of a certain grade, and then they have to be able to cut it at that right angle to extract the piezoelectric properties from it.
From the storage trays, the racks are carried to the orienting and sawing departments, where the manufacturing process begins. Pieces for the day's production are selected, and the method of cutting, which will produce the greatest number of crystal oscillators, is decided upon. The quartz is again submerged in oil so that the optic axis may be located and marked. The optic axis is found by locating certain bands of color which are formed when the quartz is examined in polarized light.
Polarized
also,
light.
In polarized light, certain types of imperfections in quartz are revealed by other patterns in color. A striking example of this latter is seen in this flat plate. The triangular patterns, which keep their forms though the colors change with the change of the lighting, indicate twinning of the quartz. Twinning is an imperfection which must be discovered and twinned regions avoided in the finished plates.
Twinning is when two crystals grow together. They're grown together, and the twinning part, the reason that they can't use it is because when they slice that wafer out of the quartz, the twinning part will be on the wrong axis because it's a different crystal that is attached to the other one, right? It's growing on it's got a different axis. So when they slice it, they have to cut those pieces off because it won't work right for the radio.
By means of such color effects, the operator has now decided where the optic axis lies and is marking a guideline on the surface. For ease in guiding the sawing operations to come, he paints a series of dots along the axis to make the direction stand out. The rough quartz is next cut by the saw into small pieces. The saw is a rotating disc of copper or steel charged with diamond powder along the rim.
And it's wet, has to be wet. You do not want to
As the
inhale.
revolving blade
You do not want to inhale quartz dust. You get silicosis, and your lungs will literally crystallize, and you'll die.
starts into the stone, a thin stream of cooling liquid is directed across it. Special saws are among the many developments which have been made during the war to facilitate the manufacture of quartz plates in large quantities. The quartz is harder than steel, but the diamond-edged blades quickly go through the large pieces. For successful cutting without undue waste of material, the saw blades must be as thin as possible and quite free from vibration. A stone of this size is cut into several slabs, and for convenience in handling, each of these slabs will in turn be sliced into smaller pieces. Precisely and quickly, the blade of the saw cuts through the quartz. Note here how its shadow appears to mark the way. Sawing so far seen has been of the rougher sort along the approximate axis of the mother quartz. The final slicing of this bar into wafers is an operation of more precision.
So there you've got your bar, which is cut at the 45-degree angle from the center axis, right, of the quartz piece. And then they can slice this into thin little wafers, and they'll get hundreds of them, and they'll put those in the radio, and that will be communications for the military.
And in order to keep record of the orientation of the bar in relation to the original mother quartz, a reference direction is marked on the surface. As a first step, we need to identify the electrically negative and positive faces of the quartz bar. This is done by squeezing it gently under a lever arm and measuring the electrical charge on a vacuum tube voltmeter.
Because if you put mechanical pressure on quartz, it releases its piezoelectricity. And I have demonstrated this before on streams where I took a couple of chunks of quartz that I found in the creek behind my house and I smashed them together and they light up. It's pretty cool.
The second step in lining up the quartz for cutting is made in a conoscope. The warmed quartz is taken from the oven, coated with shellac and hot cementing compound, and its piezoelectrically negative side mounted down against the faceplate of the jig. For accurate determination of the angle for cutting the wafers, it is necessary to provide for both easy adjustment and firm clamping of the quartz. It is mounted on a jig, such as the one shown, where the quartz may be oriented in any direction. It is to be finally locked in just the right position for the saw cut. The quartz, firmly bolted on the adjustable jig, is again submerged in the oil of the conoscope. The quartz is to be aligned in relation to the internal structure of the quartz rather than to the surfaces of the rough bar. With this flat bar, the optic axis shows itself as the center of a very perfect set of colored rings which appears in the eyepiece. These rings shift as the bar is turned ever so slightly. The task is to center the rings on the crosshairs of the eyepiece. When this is done, it determines the optic axis with good precision. For final and still greater accuracy, adjustments are made by means of X-rays in the darkroom.
So it's very precise. Even in 1943, y'all, it was 1943.
The X-ray machine is so set up that when the quartz is tilted to its exact position for sawing the BT cut crystals, a characteristic pattern of spots is reflected from the atoms of the crystal, making a sort of picture of the positions of the atoms.
This is called crystallography. This is how they determine, like if you're trying to identify minerals, they will take a small piece of the crystal, figure out what axis is what, and then they will put a laser through it, and then the diffraction pattern that it sprays tells you what it is.
These spots are not visible to the camera, but appear on the screen before the operator. When satisfied that the position is correct, the operator locks the jig in proper adjustment and places it on the shelf ready for the wafering saw. In looking back, we have seen the mother crystal sawed into slabs, and one of these in turn into several bars. Wafers are next to be precisely cut from one of these bars on the basis of the electric, optic, and X-ray tests which we have just seen. On the bottom of the steel jig upon which the crystal is mounted is a groove that fits accurately into a runner on the saw table, ensuring that the quartz cut will be in accordance with the X-ray measurements. Vertical arrows have been drawn on the quartz in 2 previous operations so that the crystal would not get inverted. After the jig is firmly bolted to the saw head, a preliminary cut is made to remove the end of the bar, and again an identifying arrow is drawn to keep track of the up direction of the first wafer to be cut. The rough wafers are rarely more than 1/16 of an inch thick, and it is quite an art to saw them thin and true from this hard and brittle material. The final finishing of the crystal plates to thickness will be done in grinding and lapping machines, and the time for this operation will be greatly shortened and much material will be saved if the wafers are initially cut thin and accurately by the saw. Quartz crystal manufacturing makes important use of X-ray machines as part of mass production.
They got cleaner over here cutting
X-rays
crystals.
permit measurements of angle in the crystal to be made much more accurately than is possible by other instruments. This X-ray machine is equipped with an electric meter to pick up the reflections from the atoms.
Yeah, they got a bunch of ladies doing all the detail work, right? It's pretty cool. You're talking about organic life. Don't confuse organic life with a mineral. There's three realms, right? There's the plant realm, the animal realm, and the mineral realm, and they are all alive, my friend. Do not get it twisted. Everything is alive.
Although the orientation of the bar before cutting was made with great care, the tolerances of the radio plate are so small that it is desirable to check the angle again after the first wafer is sawed, to make certain that if there is a slight error, it will not be repeated in other wafers sawed from the same bar. After the first wafering cut has proved to be accurate, the entire quartz bar will be cut up into wafers. In order to find any defects or twinning which may have escaped previous tests, the wafers are now etched in a safety etch bath
Trying to go through this a little faster here.
and an unetched wafer is readily seen.
So the one on the left is etched and the one on the right is clear
In
crystal.
looking for twinning on etched surfaces, the inspector sits before a small turntable and rotates the wafers under a concentrated spotlight. Differences in sheen of the surface
See there?
bring to light any twinned regions.
Now, when the light refracts in a different way, that's because the angle of the lattice structure inside this section is different from the angle structure in the lattice structure next to it. And they needed a very specific angle in order to, as I said before, extract the piezoelectricity. Oh, it's 11:11, 11:11, 11:11. Anyway, 11:11, we're talking about crystals. That's what's up.
Here are several examples of twinning as seen on etched wafers. The twinned portion is marked out with a pencil. When the wafer is being cut into quartz plates of the required size, the twinned portions will be avoided. The wafers are again examined, this time in the polariscope, in order that when square plates are cut, their edges may be lined up with the electric axis of the quartz. A line indicating this direction is drawn upon them. In marking out the wafers, they are squared up with this line. The workers space their lines carefully so as to get as many plates as possible from the wafer.
I'm sure now all this stuff is automated. They got robots that do all this stuff, I'm sure. I'm not sure, I don't know. I don't know how much of the process is still done by humans, but I imagine they've got a lot of this automated.
The two sides of the squares, which have been outlined in pencil, are now cut one at a time by rotary dicing saws. The wafer rests flat on the table as it moves under the whirling saw. The table moves toward the blade, and the wafer is neatly and quickly cut through.
Boy, they get their fingers real close to that saw. Woo, doggy!
Wafers marked for several blanks are here held in the hand for the separation cut.
Wow.
For speed in cutting and to reduce breakage, the partly cut wafers are next stacked and held together with paraffin. The uneven sides of the bundle are cut in the mechanical dicing saws.
So they just rotate it and shave it on all sides.
After the bundle has been cut, the paraffin is melted and removed from the square blanks. They are sorted according to thickness and are ready for the first stage of grinding and lapping. The lapping machines are flat cast iron discs grooved on the surface.
So lapidary is basically what it means when you take raw material, raw stones or crystals, right? And then you shape them, cut them, make them look pretty. It's lapidary.
On the bottom disc is placed a thin zinc holder with pentagonal openings. When this holder is secured in position, the rough blanks are inserted in the openings. The top grinding disc, which is also grooved, is now placed carefully on the blanks. In the high-speed lapping machines, the bottom plates of which revolve swiftly, the blanks are lapped in approximately 1/10 of the time formerly required. Lapping is done with a comparatively coarse silicon carbide abrasive. When the desired time of grinding is completed, the machines automatically stop and the blanks are removed. They are cleaned and prepared for grinding of the edges. Again stacked in bundles and cemented together with paraffin. The four edges of the stack are ground until they are smooth and even and have the desired dimensions.
So then they start measuring all their little wafers, and then they take them into different places, and they start measuring the charge, the frequency of these wafers, and the width of the wafer determines the
A dial-type
frequency.
micrometer speeds up this classification. They are measured and grouped by thousandths of an inch.
Because, like I said, the thickness determines the
A
frequency.
given number of blanks of the same thickness are taken for the final delicate machine grinding. From the classification room, the sorted blanks are sent to the dust-proof precision lapping room, where they will be mechanically ground fairly close to the desired frequency. The first operation in precision lapping is the thorough washing of the machine and the holders to remove all old abrasive. The eccentric motion of the holders ensures uniform grinding of all blanks. After washing, the holders are turned before another lapping begins.
Anyway, this is all kind of
The top
same
lapping
thing.
plate
They're
of
just
the blank.
fine-tuning
At the
the
same time,
crystal
an
wafer.
audible tone indicates the frequency by comparison.
Here we go.
Upon adjustment of the dial in an oscillating top lapping plate, and removes one sample blank from each of the 5 holders.
This is the interesting part where they
These are
start testing
cleaned
it.
and tested between metal electrodes in an oscillating circuit. Upon adjustment of the dial, the meter tells the activity of the blank, and at the same time, an audible tone indicates the frequency by comparison with the standard.
So they start fine-tuning the piece before it gets put into the actual radio.
Be tested individually. Sorted according to frequency in preparation for the final finishing to specification. The thickness of the crystal plates determines the frequency. The thinner the plate, the higher the frequency. In the final finishing department, the crystals are etched, first in mass and then individually by hand, to bring them up to the various specified frequencies.
The thinner the plate, the higher the frequency, which, just as a side note, I know, Zach, we've talked about, like, how, what am I trying to say here? The Earth frequency, right? Okay, so the frequency of Earth is very, very, very low. It's like 7 hertz or something, right? So, think about how large, right, of a crystalline foundation we're sitting on, right? I mean, it could be what's powering this whole realm. We don't know, right? A gypsy bartender? I've never been a bartender a day in my life. I've never tended bar. I've never done that in my life. You know what? Did anybody ban this guy yet? Just ban him. I'm so tired of him polluting my chat. I'll do it. No, they're hidden. Okay, thank you. GTFO, Debbie Downer. Why don't you go live and go talk about pedophiles or something and stop messing up my crystal chat? And why have they turned crystals into baubles and woo-woo and all the teachings? Exactly, because they don't want you to understand stuff. They want you to be ignorant. They want you to just have no working knowledge of this realm at all, whatsoever. Which is why they don't talk about this stuff. They don't talk about magnetism in school. They don't teach you about electricity in school. They don't teach you about crystals in school. They don't teach you any of this stuff. It's the basics. It's the literal basics of the realm and how it works. It is the key to everything. And they teach you nothing about it. Tell you it's all gravity.
Preparatory to the mass
Bullshit.
etching operation, the crystals are then stacked in notched Pyrex glass racks and are given a final cleansing in a concentrated chromic acid solution. The crystals are first thoroughly cleaned to remove abrasive and oil left by the machine lapping process.
Looks like Candy Striper. Remember Candy Stripers?
the racked crystals are transferred into successive shallow tanks in which the acid is washed off. Etched in a solvent for quartz known as frequency etch for a sufficient time to bring their frequency close but not quite to the final frequency desired. Known as frequency
etch. What is that stuff? What's the solution?
The crystals are now etched in a solvent for quartz known as frequency etch for a sufficient time to bring their frequency close but not quite to the final frequency desired. The crystals are then removed from the etching solution and are thoroughly washed, first in a neutralizing solution and then in pure water. At this point, the crystals are taken out of the racks and after their frequencies have been checked, are issued to the hand finishing operators who make the final individual adjustment of frequencies. We engaged in one of the most delicate of all operations in the manufacture of crystal oscillators. The final adjustment of frequency of the crystals is done with such great precision that the operators have been aptly named the millionth of an inch girls. Each finishing position is equipped with a small sink, hot running water, compressed air, small dishes containing etching and neutralizing solutions, plastic tongs to hold the crystals, a revolving drum-like edging device, and a comparison oscillator. The crystal is first thoroughly scrubbed with a brush and soap solution. A thoroughly clean surface is necessary if the etching is to take place uniformly. After the scrubbing, it is well rinsed in water. It is thoroughly dried with compressed air and placed between electrodes. The crystal is then measured in the oscillator to determine the amount of frequency that must be etched off to reach the precise desired value. The activity of the crystal is also checked. In the instance seen, the crystal activity is found to be low. To increase the activity, the operator lightly laps the edges of the crystal by holding it within the abrasive-lined rotating drum. The crystal is now gripped in the plastic tongs and is placed in the etching solution for the required time. While the crystal is etching, the operator cleans and dries the electrodes. The etching solution dissolves quartz from the surface of the crystal, making it thinner and thereby increasing the frequency. Also, by removing the damaged surface layer produced by machine lapping, etching increases the stability of the finished oscillator plate. The crystal is removed from the etching solution, washed, neutralized, again washed, and its frequency measured to find how close it is to the desired value.
Isn't that
the
crazy?
frequency is still found to be low.
They fine-tune
so
the
that
frequency
crystal
of
is
those little
again
wafers.
scrubbed, etched, washed, dried, and remeasured. The frequency is now found to be within the tolerances, and the crystal is put into its permanent holder. The frequency and activity are again checked. At this stage, the crystals are all put through a drop test and a vibration test to ensure that they will maintain their performance. Under the production tests, the crystals are first dropped through a zigzag funnel-like contrivance. The wooden cover of the box has been removed to permit this photograph of the operation. The intense vibration found in aircraft or other military vehicles requires that every crystal be securely fastened within the holder and not shift its position or frequency. The crystals are now mounted on a broad horizontal rack where they are mechanically vibrated for half an hour. The intensity of the vibration is seen by the behavior of a glass of water, which has here been placed on the vibrating table. The crystals are now taken to a calibration room where an exact measurement of frequency is made by direct comparison with the standard frequency using a cathode ray oscilloscope. The rotation of an ellipse in the oscilloscope will indicate the frequency down to 1/1000th of 1%. The crystals that pass the oscilloscope test have the covers of their holders tightly screwed down for next higher frequency channel.
There you go. That's it. Boom. Then they go into radios.
A revolutionary new technique has been developed in the Reeves Research Laboratory, by which it is possible to reduce the frequency of a crystal whose frequency has been carried too high. In practice, the amount of decrease in frequency needed to bring the overshot crystal back within tolerance is measured. The crystal is then removed from its holder and placed in a slide which centers it in a powerful beam of X-rays. When the slide is pushed in, a switch automatically turns on the X-ray beam, and similarly, when the slide is removed, the X-rays are turned off. The X-rays lower the frequency of the crystal by altering certain atomic properties of the quartz itself.
So that's kind of trippy that if they make the frequency too high, they can reduce the frequency by shooting it with X-rays.
The operator times the exposure to give the desired change in
So being shot with X-rays reduces your frequency, apparently.
X-ray unit placed in its holder, the frequency measured again as a check. The recovered crystals are now added to the stock which did not need the X-ray treatment, and all are ready for their final factory tests. And the lives of American airmen and those of our allies.
So there you go. That is just a glimpse. Just a glimpse. That's just one thing, man. Crystals are used in just about everything. Just about everything. So, you know, they're highly important. Are they alive? Yeah. Yeah, they're alive. Because how do I know? Because crystals grow. Watch. I don't know. Let's see. I would like to see one that... This one is a good video of crystals growing. Like that. Now, I think this might be salt crystals. That's salt. You'll see different types of crystals in this video. I don't know what all they are because they don't say, but basically what you're seeing starting here is a super saturated crystalline slurry with the seed crystals in it. Watch. You'll see these little dots, seeds, the seed crystals, and they start to grow. They grow. Now, if they're dead, how are they growing? If they're dead, what is it doing? If that's dead, does dead stuff get bigger without human intervention? I mean, I don't, that doesn't look dead to me. It's different than, it's different than organic life. It's like not alive like I'm alive. It's actually, I like to say that crystals are not only are they alive, but they are immortal. They are literally immortal things on this earth because they don't they just don't fade away like we do. They don't, there is a rate of decay and they will change form and stuff, but their life is so much longer. It's eons longer than our life, right? And they can change shape. They're shape-shifting, immortal beings on this earth, essentially, is what they are. And we just learn how to use their properties for uses for our own technological means because, humans are smart. Well, most of them, some of them are. Some of them are smart and some of them think that there was aliens in the mall in Miami. And some of them think that Rock is a woman. And some of them, well, I just won't keep going. You can grow a crystal. Anybody can grow a crystal. Like, that's the thing. Anybody can do it. Let's see if there's a how-to. How to grow a crystal. You could probably look it up. How to grow a crystal. How to grow your own crystals at home. And so it tells you to get these solutions, right? What are these solutions? These are super saturated slurries that you are creating, right? That's what you're doing. And then the water evaporates off, and then the molecules that are left start bumping together and they go, oh, I recognize you. Hey, let's make this cool thing that we know how to do. And so they do. They start growing and making these shapes, these predetermined, organized, highly organized lattice structure shapes. Each of them has a different property. They do different things. They have different purposes. It's a wonderful thing. It's beautiful. It's magical. It's the realm, man. The feds are watching. Oh God, is my thing going? No, it still says excellent connection. Okay. Yeah, you can heat crystals and you can change properties of them and stuff. There's things you can do. Yes, there's kits you can get. It's super easy to grow a crystal. Growing bismuth crystals, this one is one where the crystals are created with heat, because there's a lot of people who don't think that magma or heat could have possibly been responsible for forming the columnar jointing that you see in basalt, but that's just not so. It actually could have formed. I thought maybe for a while, before I really started doing a deep dive into crystals, that there could be something to the whole Devil's Tower thing, because I didn't understand that there's many different ways for crystal formations to form, and that heat is definitely one of those ways. And the heat and the slow cooling of a material can cause the material to crystallize and form organized structure. Sometimes it's columnar jointing, and in this case of bismuth crystals, it is bismuth that is heated and then allowed to cool, right? So you're heating the bismuth. Like, anybody could do this too. You can go online and order yourself some bismuth ingots, okay? Get an old pot, go outside, stick it on the fire and melt it, okay? And then as you take it off the fire and allow it to cool slowly, like you can even see some of the squares forming right here. You allow it to cool slowly, and then underneath, where it just looks like a mess on top, you will see it start to form these inverted ziggurat pyramidal shapes, straight lines everywhere. Pyramids and straight lines. That's why I love bismuth. It makes pyramids and straight lines. Inverted pyramid straight line crystals. Just by slowly cooling. Is he going to show it? Or is this like the worst bismuth video ever? Here, this one might be better. Yeah, see, this guy's pulling out actual bismuth crystals. So he's got it slowly cooling. Right? Then you get, so the fire's not on it now. So then as it starts to cool, the crystals slowly start to form. So this is crystals being formed from heat, from liquid, whatever that is, whatever you want to call it. See, there we go. And you pull out these beautiful crystalline forms. And they only formed because it was cooling after being heated up like that. Look at that. And allowing it to break down and then reform. This is an example of how they're immortal, right? So you could take that bismuth and you could melt it down 1,000 times and let it cool down 1,000 times, and each time it's going to keep doing the same thing. It'll just make a new crystal for you. I was talking about looking up how to grow a crystal in. Yeah, you can. You totally can. When the conditions are right and the elements are there, they only know how to grow. Exactly. It's just doing what they were told to do, what they were made to do by the Creator. Right? I mean, look at that. That is just because he melted down the blocks of bismuth ingot and then let it cool down slowly. That's all he did. Anybody could do it. Look at that. It's really cool. So anyway, there's other materials that do this, like even gold. Let's see if I can find, he burnt himself. Okay, I don't want to see your wound. But like even gold grows sometimes. Let's see if I can find one. Even gold grows in an organized fashion sometimes. So like, because gold is a crystal, right? So here's an example right here of gold. Look at it. It even has faces. So here you go. You can see right here. This is gold growing in the shape of a crystal. Because why? Gold is a metal, but also it's a crystal. So this is what it looks like when gold is allowed to form in its natural shape as a pure crystalline form. It's not all just a nugget. Not always just a nugget. So anyway, can go crystals on rye bread. Hair grows. Is hair alive? Well, I'm growing the hair. I mean, it doesn't have any nerve endings in it. Yes, all metals are crystal, Tony Coriolis. They are all crystal. I know. See, that's the thing, is a lot of people don't even realize that metals are crystal. That's why I like to show this. I like to show this gold picture, because this is like amazing. Like, people don't see this. This is a natural crystalline gold formation. Nobody ever sees this. They don't show you this. What do they show you gold as? Rings, necklaces, earrings, a setting for a diamond that's going to cost you $1 million. You know, it's like, you have to understand that this is the earth is always making this stuff. Always making this stuff. The only reason diamonds are expensive is because of a well-planned marketing campaign by De Beers. But really, they're not really even any more special than any other crystal. In fact, there's other crystals that are way prettier than diamond. Cammie and I have had this conversation. There are crystals that are way more visually appealing than a diamond. You know, like, that's a whole elitist status, you know, scam. Just a scam. And a lot of times you'll see quartz, gold with quartz. So right here, this is gold. I'm pretty sure, yeah, gold on quartz. Says it right here. So you've got all these quartz crystals, and the gold is growing there, right in there, all with the quartz. A lot of times you can find, you know, people will find gold claims by finding gold mixed with the quartz on the surface, and then they start digging and then they find the gold, you know. So there's certain minerals, and you know, there's different areas have different geological makeups, and so that's how you know, you can find certain minerals in certain areas, blah blah blah. You know, all this stuff is just, it is you could talk about it forever. Could talk about it forever. Where did people get the idea that there used to be silicone-based life on Earth instead of carbon-based? Yeah, Dr. Back Asswords, because people... Here's the thing. Remember that stupid video that came out in 2016 called No Forest on Flat Earth? That's where it came from. That is where it came from. As soon as Flat Earth broke out, everybody was just trying to figure stuff out, and here comes this Russian PSYOP video that comes out and tells everybody that there's no forest on Flat Earth, and you can't believe your eyes, and there's no trees, there's no such thing as real trees, all the real trees were cut down, and now they're all mountains. I mean, what a load of horse shit. What a complete load of horse shit. And so they threw you all off. Like, that was a big curveball, man, and a bunch of people fell for it, and I'm sorry if you did, and I'm sorry if what I just said offends you. I love you. I don't mean any harm, but I just don't want people to be deceived. I really, really don't. But that is where that came from. So then they all started saying, oh, well, you know, because you can't just say that the mountain is used to be a tree, because you know why? Because we know what petrified wood looks like. Where's all my petrified wood? Here's a piece of petrified wood. Here's a piece of petrified wood. I've got a bunch of pieces of actual petrified wood. I think I put them over there. But anyway, let me go get them. Here we go. That's my earbud. Okay, so we know what petrified wood looks like, right? And you can identify minerals. That's the whole thing with modern equipment. You can identify what minerals are what, right? So here's a piece of petrified wood. This is one piece, right? Here's a piece. It's black and gray. This piece of petrified wood is from Yellowstone River in Billings, Montana. Okay? Here's another piece of petrified wood. It has a completely different makeup. It is got all these beautiful colors. This is indicative of petrified wood from Arizona. This is from Navajo County, Holbrook, near Holbrook, Arizona. Okay, there's a petrified forest in Arizona, and we know because we can positively identify that those are trees, right? So now when you have something that's a mountain and there's like, how do you positively identify that as a tree, right? You can't. You literally can't. So what do? You make up some bullshit story about how the trees, the ex-mountain trees are not carbon-based life forms. Oh, no, those are silicone-based life forms because that's how they got so big. And that's how so you make one bullshit story to follow another bullshit story, right? So that's where that comes from. But here's the thing. I was watching, you know what's funny is like, I'm a homeschooler, right? So I was watching some videos on Khan Academy, some science videos, right? Because I forget why exactly. But the guy was talking about, carbon-based life form, why life is carbon-based and it can't be silicone-based. Like it literally went into that. And it was talking about like the carbon chains and how they think different things can attach to the carbon, blah, blah, blah. But not everything can attach to silicone the same way that it can attach to carbon. So silicone is not really set up for supporting organic life. It does, however, support mineral life. It's mineral life. It's not organic life. It's mineral life. So while, carbon, CO2 life forms, right? And then what is quartz? SiO2. That's silicone. So that is why the silicone-based life form bullshit lie got propagated so that people would believe that all mountains are actually giant tree stumps that were cut down and they're blah, 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 and just another big distraction from getting to the truth. Okay? That's what it is. In my humble opinion. If anybody has anything that can prove me wrong, I would love to see it. People always say, oh, those were proven to be trees. Remember when they were first coming out and then they were saying, oh, they found, there was a study done and they found a root system under Devil's Tower. A college did a study. No, they didn't. There was never a college that did a study. I don't know if anybody remembers that rumor going around. There was never a college that did a study or did any sort of investigation to find a root system under Devil's Tower. There is no root system under Devil's Tower. It's just ridiculous. It's just people making stuff up. This is why I am so against that stuff and why I don't entertain fantasy, because too many people have gone way off the beat, way off track, and they start entertaining all of these things that just aren't even possible in the realm as we know it. Like, I know we were lied to about the realm and where we are in this universe and everything, but at the end of the day, there is a physical world. We can go out and we can test things for real with everybody watching, and we can have other people do it independently, right? And they can test it too, and they can either verify or falsify your claims, right? So we can do these things with things that are here in the physical world. This isn't like space. This isn't like the lights in the sky where they made up some big fancy elaborate story and made a bunch of CGI cartoons and made a bunch of books and a space agency and launched rockets in the air, all to keep your imagination on things that you cannot falsify or test yourself, right? So fuck space, fuck worrying about the lights in the sky, and start looking at stuff here on Earth. Start studying what's going on here on Earth, right? Start testing things here on Earth. Stop looking at stupid fantasy videos made by people who don't leave their house, or don't actually go anywhere, who don't have any laboratory experience, who don't have any idea about anything. They're just looking at stuff and saying, this looks like that, so that must be this, or this looks like that, so that must be this. Like, that is so retarded. Oh my God, I'm ranting. But anyway, I digress. That's some bullshit, right, NDB? Gold tendrils also amongst iron. Gold rides an iron horse. You can also find gold along with copper. Like, there's copper mines, people mining copper ore, and they'll find huge things of gold. I mean, electrum is an actual mixture of gold and silver. Huh. I never watched that video because it seemed ridiculous, because it is ridiculous. But do you know that video went viral and everybody just like took it as gospel? Oh, and there's no trees. They're going around saying all of these plateau mountains are cut off trees, like that were like miles tall. Like, let's not even discuss like how the hell, who cut that down? Where's the 1 mile tall person and all of the equipment and all of the civilization, like the breeding, living, breathing civilization of mile tall people that it must have taken? Like, it is so ridiculous, so fantastical, so far out of reality. Oh, and here's the other thing. Here's one thing that none of these tree people, well, they try to explain it, but you can't. The tree line. The growth of trees stops after a certain elevation. So you're going to tell me that that this was a tree and it grew all the way up almost to the freaking firmament or wherever, halfway to the firmament? Like, give me a break. And then they try to use Bible stuff from scripture, saying that they talked about giant trees. There's only like 1 or 2 spots. Neither one of them is talking about a literal giant tree. They're allegorical. They're comparing it, like one is the Assyrian is as a giant cedar. They're comparing this man, this king, his reach to like as if it was a giant cedar with roots reaching everywhere. Like, it's all allegorical talk. And one of them is Nebuchadnezzar's dream. It's a dream. The guy dreams about a tree. They're not talking about actual physical trees. And in the book of Enoch, they don't talk about giants or giant trees. They talk about 200 trees that you have to go cut down, as if they, it's like symbolically, like that somehow cuts down these Nephilim or whatever, but they don't even say anything about giant trees. And then you got this dipshit moron that everybody loves to watch called John Levi, who wants to tell you, well, if everybody was giant, then they wouldn't decipher between who's giant and isn't giant. But they do. In other places, they say, oh, that guy's a giant. These are men of acceptable size. Well, that means that they were regular people and they were differentiating between themselves and giant people. So that's a stupid premise too. You can't just say, oh, well, everything was giant. So we all came from giants and all the people shrank now. Like, just stop making stuff up. It's like everybody just wants some some roundabout fantasy story where they don't have to go back to like these ancient religious texts, which is what I've been diving into lately. There's got to be some historical value in there. It's not like I'm saying everybody needs to, you know, be a Christian or be this or be that. Like, I'm not trying to, you know, evangelize anybody, but historically, these are some of the oldest texts. So there's something to be learned from them. And none of them talk about giant fucking trees. Not one of them. Not one of them talks about, oh, there was a giant melted, or there was a giant brick building that the giants lived in. And then there was this crazy event that came and melted the building and turned it into a mountain. Like, nothing says that ever, anywhere, nowhere. It's like, this is all you guys just making stuff up. You know, and it's fine if you want to make stuff up and you want to have fantasy stories, right? That's cool. But that's what it is. It's a fantasy story. Don't go around pushing that shit as truth because it's not truth. Rants are good. Truth has to get out somehow. Mixed metal mine. The collective agrees Earth keeps carbon-based life forms. How could the collective not smell the BS of carbon taxing? Exactly! That's the whole thing. You are the carbon they want to reduce. You are the carbon they want to reduce. I've been saying that for probably like, I don't know, 15, 20 years before I was a flat earther. Anyway, does anybody want to call in? 848-222-2480. Does anybody have anything to add? Does anybody want to, you know, argue with anything I said? My date on screen says January 1. Oh my God, no way. Has it said that the whole time and nobody said anything? Oh Lord, I forgot to change that. Okay, let me change it. I'm sorry. Me malo. Oh my God, it's like that for like almost the whole show. I can't believe nobody noticed it. Did nobody else notice that? Is this the first time you guys noticed it? Anyway, you know what they try to say? They try to say that the Earth, there was different pressure, there was more CO2 or more oxygen, like not even taking into account that fucks up the life spike, like everything else. That throws the balance off for everything else. So the conditions were favorable to grow giant trees, and then what? Nothing else? I didn't notice. Notice what? You guys are funny. Old man filmed at 20 odd then in his 70s is where I used to drive a motorbike right up the hill. Sea level to tree line would be quite a sight. Right? Even if a tree was as big as that would be like thousands of feet, right? So what is... Yeah, 15,000. So here's 10,000 feet. 10,000. Right here. So in different areas, the tree line is different. So this is the highest one at 15,000, and I think this is in the Himalayas. Tenerife, their tree line's much lower. So the Andes. Yeah, so you can't even get a tree to grow above 15,000 feet. And so think about like the pressure mediation of the realm. Think about what it takes, even for a redwood. A giant redwood is so tall. It is so tall that even the redwood doesn't get all of its water from the ground, from the roots in the ground. It literally drinks fog out of the sky because it's too big. So how I just don't see how a tree of that size could actually physically exist in this realm. I just don't see it. I blame all of you for letting me go this long without changing my date. That's too funny. Oh my gosh. I need to look at, what were you guys saying in, oh hey, look at, there's been chat going on in Rockfin. I'm sorry I didn't look. Let me look. What are you guys talking about in Rockfin? How the hell would I even know if Ghislaine Maxwell and Epstein even existed? I wouldn't exactly. I don't know. What's going on in Oakland is going on in every big city. How about San Diego? Is it like that in San Diego too, Greg? All the time you say it's all, yeah, a realm prison. I feel like attacking now. I'm an auto detailer. They put SiO2 on all the ceramic coating bottles. I was unaware it was quartz based. That's pretty fascinating. All I know is that I'm not falling for that whole go into the light business again. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Well, you got to be careful even about that, though. You know, like, how do any of us know what's going to happen when we die? You can listen to a bunch of near-death experiences, though, and the similarity among all of them is pretty trippy. That might be a dive that I go into. Earth is thick. I fell for it, but I thought no way that big of a tree could live on a ball, so it brought me to FE. Huh. That's actually pretty cool, Scott Hunter. Well, I'm glad it brought you around. I'll say that. I noticed, but didn't want to say anything. Oh. They don't exist in this realm anymore because those conditions don't exist anymore, possibly. But see, possibly, right? But nobody can prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that there were conditions that did exist for that. And if those conditions did exist, what does that mean for normal human life for us, right? So we're happy in the realm the way it is now. So if it's that drastically different, you know, to support 10-mile high trees or whatever, however tall they're supposed to be, then how did we live through that? I mean, it just brings up way more questions than answers, and there's really no, at least not that I've heard yet, there's no satisfactory answer. Just my opinion. When you get into it, I will call in to talk about my NDE. Oh, okay, cool. So anyway, that's how I feel about all that. Anyway, I guess that's the end of that. End of rant. End of crystal rant. The other thing that I knew I wanted to talk about. Let's talk about this real quick. Let's finish it off with this because I thought this was a cool share by Ken Wheeler. Light is a sound wave in the ether. Because remember, I was saying that I thought everything was sound spectrum instead of light spectrum. This was like, yes, sir. All right, so this is the post. This post right here. This guy right here. Check this out. The moon is in front, but still shining bright with the sun in the background. It's like, okay, I see. Like, who took this picture? And how did you not, like, see this with your own, clearly, whoever took this, I don't think this guy took the picture. Well, I don't know who took this stupid ass picture, but it's going around. Everybody is sharing it as if this is the sun, and then this is the moon being lit up next to the sun in this picture. No, it is not. No, it is not. It is not the sun, my friend. That is the moon, and the exposure is set way too high, and now you have a ghost image of the moon as a result of your exposure being set way too high. So anyway, people have been sharing it repeatedly on Facebook, and I was trying to at least start a thread where people could see that it's not. And I had some stupid asshole, this guy right here, arguing with me, telling me that that's not how lens flare works, but that literally is how lens flare works when you have a very bright light and you're shooting against the bright light, and you're especially if your exposure is off. Like with the sun, it's unavoidable, right? Because the sun is so bright. But with other bright lights, you can get the same effect by having your exposure be off. And this stupid idiot doesn't understand that. And he tried to tell me, oh, I know more than you about photography. I'm an actual photographer. Well, you're gotta be the worst fucking photographer on the face of the plane because you don't even understand what lens flare is. Do you even know how to expose stuff correctly or set your exposure correctly? Probably not. So there's this picture going around. There's a woman post, I purposely overexposed to get the lens flare duplicate of the moon. And that's exactly what that is. And you guys, I would hope that you all know that the full moon is only ever full when it is 180 degrees out from the sun. When the sun and the moon are this close together, it is the new moon phase. There is no moon to see. How that shit works, I have no idea. But that's how it is. And that's what you can see day after day, month after month. If you watch the sky, that's what I did when I very first got into flat earth. The first thing I did was start watching the sky because I was like mind blown. I was like, well, if that's not space like they told us, what's going on up there? And I could not stop looking in the sky for a very long time. And I was very confused at first. And I was wondering, what is the moon doing? What is this? None of this makes sense. And then I started to learn about the cycles of the lights in the sky and understand how they worked. And I understand now that a solar eclipse can only happen during a new moon phase because that is when the new moon, which you don't see, is in line with the sun. And a lunar eclipse can only happen when the sun is 180 degrees away from the moon and on the opposite side of the moon, because solar eclipses only happen during a full moon phase. Only during a full moon phase when the sun is on the other side. How it works, I don't know. We can only speculate, but I do believe that studying geology and earth and minerals and the properties of the things that are in this realm, the natural materials that we find in this realm, are essential and key to understanding how the realm works. And I don't feel like making up any fantasy stories about it. The earth needs to tell us her story. Let the earth tell us her story. Stop making shit up. Okay? Damn. If a 10-mile tree fell, it wouldn't just block a trail, it'd block whole cities, right? Like, where's the rest of the damn trees? Supposedly, if every mountain is a tree that fell over or broke somehow, where's all the damn trees? And how come we only have the tree stumps? Like, it is so dumb. And it really pisses me off because, you know, when people... like I was talking about this earlier, when people first wake up, man, they are just so open to learning new things, and they know they've been lied to, and they're like, well, what's the truth? And then they don't know who, you know, it takes a while before you get your bearings and you get your BS detector honed in enough to where you can say, okay, you know what, you're pulling my leg, you know? And the only way that you can get that tool in your tool belt is to use it and to investigate and ask questions, and don't just believe what people are telling you. Like, if you see something cool online, separately open up another window and just start searching to see if you can find any sort of other source to back it up or to show you that there's a there. Just very simple. Very simple. Just try. You know? It's like, but too many people are like, oh, so-and-so shared it. It's got 250 shares. It must be true. No. It's got 250 idiots spreading bullshit is what it's got. So just, you know, that's like one of the most frustrating things to me. I think there was giants and giant trees and animals before the flood. It says they mixed the plants, animals, and man, not just silicone-based nonsense, and mountains are not trees. Yeah, well, there were definitely giants, okay? People talk about the giants, and I'm not saying there weren't giant people. And I also think we had giant trees, and we still have giant trees, just not the size that people like to say. Like, they are not the size of mountains. When I say giant tree, I'm talking about like sequoia, like giant sequoia tree, right? Like these, where you can drive through them. That's a giant tree. We still have them. Not as many, because a lot of them were cut down, but like the Avenue of the Giants, like we have giant trees. They're just not miles. They're not Titan trees, like some people like to say. That is a fantasy. That is a made-up fantasy. Prove me wrong. I didn't start railing this hard against the giant tree thing until after I started learning about crystals and the fractality of them and how they form and how they grow, and I started digging, like going down that road. I did not rail as hard against the giant tree thing. I actually just paid it no mind. But now it's bullshit. Like, I've pretty much come to the conclusion that it's bullshit. And I would like to see where lava is turning into basalt before I believe it's lava. Not saying it's trees, though. Well, basalt rock. Basalt is the same thing that comes out like in Hawaii when the lava flows in Hawaii and then it solidifies. That's basalt rock. Now, the reason it looks different is because that rock is not being allowed to cool slowly to where it can form those hexagonal columnar jointing things, right? It's rapidly cooling. So when you rapid cool, it doesn't have the time to create that structure, right? It has to be given the right conditions. That's the whole key. The key is the conditions and the time, right? It has to have very particular conditions. That is like the natural entropy of the realm, right? It's the natural entropy, right? Because it's that 1.618, right? Because not everything, sometimes you'll find these crystals and they are perfect. They are large and beautiful and clear, like it had the most beautiful conditions, the absolute perfect conditions to grow. It's gorgeous. It's like flawless, right? And then you'll find other crystals that are the same material, but they're wonky. It's just a chunk. It's missing something. It's a different color. It's got an inclusion because it didn't have the beautiful, perfect conditions to grow. It grew in that 0.618, right? That entropy part, the messed up part, the part that isn't perfect. And that is what creates randomness and variety and surprise in the realm, is that imperfect perfectness, that 1.618, right? That golden ratio where not everything is divided in exactly in half. It's an approximation, and it's what creates the unknown. It's what creates randomness. It's, what makes things interesting, and it all follows that same ratio. Everything follows the same ratio. That's why one thing looks like another, right? Because it's all driven by the same force. Do we have any other callers? Nobody want to call in? 848-222-2480. Has Mark Sargent showed his face yet? And you know what's funny too is like, I was talking about this too, like the whole thing with like the giant animals. There is something weird going on. Like they're finding giant bones, and the bones are not all human. Like there's clearly been instances where they have found giant human bones, but they also find bones of other creatures that are not human. What are they? What they came from? Like, obviously the story they're telling us is not true. I have my own little ideas and theories about some of these creatures. Like, I have a theory that before the creator put humans, or very early on, there were all these weird creatures, and it was like when you build an environment or a tank like for fish or whatever, you have to prime the tank. Like if you put like snails in there, or like, something that's not like an expensive fancy fish, to like build up the biome in that area, right? So maybe, and this could be complete bullshit, maybe a lot of these creatures were like the creator priming the tank, right? Like putting life in there, large life, to jumpstart the biome of Earth, and then get everything going so that we could be here. I mean, I don't know. That could be completely a stupid idea. I don't know. But it is weird that these weird fossilized bones are being found of creatures and we don't know what they are. Now, what are they telling us they are? I don't necessarily believe it. But like, people find them. People go out, like, especially if you go into these rock hounding groups and stuff, people find fossils all the time. They find teeth and fossils and bones and stuff, and they don't know what any of it is, But there's stuff all over the realm. There is stuff all over. It's really fascinating. You saw Mark in chat a little earlier? I enjoyed looking into the no trees on FE thing. I've learned to look at everything, no matter how crazy it sounds, right? Like, hey, look, you know what? I've looked at stuff too, but some of it you don't. My point is, it's fine to investigate stuff, but some of it, it's like pretty obvious with just a little bit of work to know that it's like, I don't think so. That don't really sound right. Why didn't the Romans discover the so-called dinosaur? Yeah, the 1800s. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying the dinosaur story is real, but what are the creatures that they're finding, though? Are they dragons? I mean, did they slay all the dragons? Was there like a mass dragon slaying? I don't know. Of course, there's nothing that really talks about that either. But old texts, all these ancient texts, they do, every once in a while, they'll mention like monsters or beasts or whatever, things that don't sound like something that exists today. So that's kind of a little mystery that's still out there. Might just be extinct species killed off by people or natural disasters. Possibly. Part of the fun of pulling a trailer, every time I pull into Home Depot parking lot, the day laborers come running. That's hilarious. You gotta watch it with those now, though. Man, gotta watch it. Anyway. So there was that stupid sun picture that was going around that I wanted to talk about. And that is lens flare. So anyway, if anybody wants to do a meetup, you can email me and Mark Sargent, and we'll put your meetups on the website. Flat Earth friendly meetups. Dragons, maybe. Larger animals, usually in smaller numbers in the chain, so easy to eradicate, like a mammoth, and they need more food. Yeah. Like the saber-toothed tigers, people find... I think I just saw where somebody had a skull of one. Let's see. Are these $249? They can't be that common. These gotta be all fake. Replica? Okay. Discovery of 16-inch long saber-toothed tiger skull proves they were bigger than we thought. Where is it? A newly identified Smilodon populator skull measured by a terrifying 16 inches, making it the largest specimen of S popular to date. See, now this, where was this found? A Brazilian cave. First fossils of S. populator were unearthed in a Brazilian cave in 1842. That's sussy. Maybe all of it's bullshit. This specimen was dug up by amateur fossil hunter named Ricardo Praderi, who later donated it to the museum in southern Uruguay in September '89. At the time, archaeological digs around the region had mostly uncovered large herbivores, often the size of a large truck. Like a giant ground sloth, right? Like they have supposedly these giant sloths. Anyway, I don't know, man. It's all bullshit, says NDB. Chimeras? Possibly. Like, maybe they could have been creatures that the Nephilim were making when there was still Nephilim around. Maybe they were making some crazy shit. Very likely all too most BS, I agree. Yeah, man, I don't know. But supposedly, every once in a while, like, you know, let's see. Farmer, let's just do a generic search. Unless this is just another bullshit story, right? Farmer finds fossilized bone. I'm just going to leave it like that. Farmer finds fossilized bone. Michigan farmer digs up woolly mammoth bones. North Dakota coal miners unearth mammal tusk. Michigan farmer unearthed bones of rare mammoth. 2 farmers found largest dinosaur ever unearthed. Miners accidentally find huge trove of mammoth bones. Woolly mammoth. Farmer finds 15,000-year-old woolly mammoth. Michigan farmer unearths prehistoric woolly mammoth. Texas farmer finds 60,000-year-old woolly mammoth. Mostly mammoths, it looks like. Let's see. Aussie farmers unleash dinosaur rush as fossils. What? Fuck you. I'm not paying for your bullshit. Lies. Australian dinosaur graveyard, huh? Only 5 feet down under, a dinosaur graveyard turned up in Australia. It's sparking a paleontological revolution in the country. Oh, this is recent. This is 2023. A farmer found a dinosaur graveyard 5 feet under his land. Scientists have excavated some of the most astounding paleontological finds in history. No pics. Farmer finds woolly mammoth. Indiana farmer uncovers ancient mastodon bones. So mostly mastodons and mammoths. So that's pretty crazy. The Shetman family of Seymour first thought cow or chicken remains had been found during the renovations, but then they saw a giant tusk and 4-foot-long thigh bones. They realized the beast was much larger and more ancient. Look at that. That's crazy shit. So they found this. So what is that? Is it really a mastodon? Like, that's trippy, right? You think dinos are birds and reptiles? Your theory is the Phoenicians created us through alchemy? What? What kind of cracked out thing is that? So a large mammal, nothing to do with dinos though. Yeah. True that. Scientists finally identified chicken farmers' 240 million year old whatsy what? Smithsonian? Sydney Morning Herald. Okay, so this is Sydney. Retired chicken farmer has identified as a paleontologist as a new type of Triassic amphibian that stalked the freshwater streams of Sydney Basin 240 million years ago. It's like a big lizard. Or something. I don't know. 50-foot dragon dinosaur unearthed by Chinese farmers. Where's the picture? Record is not been published and therefore not visible to the public on this website. Come on. You guys suck. Y'all suck. Show us your dragon. A new sauropod dinosaur from the late Jurassic of China. Blah, blah, blah. How come they never have any pictures? Not that pictures are proof, but come on. Africans discovered dinosaur fossils long before... What does it say? Long before the term paleontology existed. Credit for discovering the first dinosaur bones usually goes to the British gentlemen for their finds between the 17th and 19th centuries in England. But our study shows that the history of paleontology can be traced back much further into the past. We present evidence that the first dinosaur bone may have been discovered in Africa as early as 500 years before Plots. We're a team of scientists who study fossils in South Africa, peering through the published and unpublished archaeological, historical, and paleontological literature. We discovered that there has been interest in fossils in Africa for as long as there have been people on the continent. Blah, blah, blah. Programming, bullshit evolution enforcement. Continent, blah, 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 blah. So anyway... So it wasn't just likely that African people discovered fossils first, it was inevitable. More often than not, the dinosaur fossils supposedly discovered by scientists were actually brought to their attention by local guides. Examples are the discovery of the gigantic dinosaurs Jobaria and the Tuaregs in Niger and Giraffatitan. Giraffatitan? What is that? Really? Supposed to be like a dinosaur giraffe? The heck was that? So our paper reviews what is known about African indigenous knowledge of fossils. We list fossils that appear to have long been known at various African sites and discuss how they might have been used and interpreted by African communities before the science of paleontology came to be. Bolala rock shelter in Lesotho. One of the highlights of our paper is the archaeological site of Bolala, a later Stone Age rock shelter in Lesotho. Various dating techniques indicate that the site was occupied by the Khoisan and Basotho people from the 12th to the 18th centuries. The shelter itself is surrounded by hills made of consolidated sediments that were deposited under a harsh Sahara-like desert some 180 million, blah, 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 when dinosaurs first roamed the earth. Yeah, sure. Anyway, in 1990, archaeologists working at Balala discovered a bone of Massos pondylus, a fossil phalanx that had been transported to the cave, blah, blah, blah. The date when the phalanx was collected and transported is unfortunately lost to time. Given the current knowledge, it could have been at any time of occupation of the shelter from the 12th to the 18th centuries. This leaves open the possibility that this dinosaur bone could have been collected up to 500 years prior to Robert Plott's find. Well, you know, I mean, it's possible that they were finding this stuff before. I mean, people are finding something, right? They're finding something. What is it? When is it from? That's the big mystery, right? Anyway, who knows? And you know what? The dino eggs are just concretions. Dino eggs are concretions. You know what a concretion is? Concretion. Yes, I'm going to read from Sheeplepedia for this because it's a thing that happens. Like if you guys have looked at, I've shown you before where we're watching those guys that go into the caves, and inside the cave they have cave pearls, which is like these little balls that form naturally of themselves. It's just stuff surrounding, like there'll be a bit of matter or whatever, and it'll just start to collect stuff around it, and then it forms a ball, and then eventually the ball, you know, hardens and becomes like cement, and that is a concretion. Concretion is a hard, compact mass formed by the precipitation of mineral cement within the spaces between particles and is found in sedimentary rock or soil. Concretions are often ovoid or spherical in shape, although irregular shapes can also occur. The word concretion is derived from the Latin concretio, act of compacting, condensing, congealing, uniting, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, concretion images, they look all kinds of crazy ways, right? They could be giant, they could be huge. Look at all these. These are all huge, huge field of concretions in Kazakhstan, right? No, it's not a bunch of alien eggs, alien spaceship eggs. It's just concretions. These are natural earth formations. That's all they are. So let me see if I can find like images. Concretions, right? So you can find little groups of concretions, and they'll be like, oh, look, dinosaur eggs. Right? Dinosaur, oh, look at it's dinosaur eggs. No, it's not. It's just concretions. You know, they're all different sizes. It's not a tumor. Like a pearl forming. Oh yeah, they say heavy dinos would spend a lot of time in water. Imagine how hard it'd be to move around. I got your dinosaur right here. There's Mark. This is history repeating. There was a great people before us. Look at the buildings. Those cities were here. Okay, well, here's the thing. I was thinking about this earlier today with people, because, I'll wake up in the morning and I'll lay in bed because I wake up really early. It's still dark outside. And I'll lay in bed and I'll just look at Facebook at what people are posting and saying on Facebook. And then people share these buildings of like the old, like the World's Fair, these World's Fairs that happen where they built all these like cheap cities out of like plaster and wood, and they painted it to look like marble, and then they took pictures of it and it looks really good in the pictures, but like there's all these accounts, like written accounts of where they actually went, and when you looked at it up close you could see how cheap everything was, and it was made of this and made of that and blah blah blah. And then people go, oh, look at all these fantastic buildings that were here, these big beautiful stone buildings, and they tore them all down. And now we're just left with shit. Well, okay, if they really had all of those big buildings, these big marble buildings, or stone buildings, where did the stones go? Where'd they go? Because that's a lot of freaking stone material you have to get rid of. Now, if the facades were made of cheap material, plaster and wood and paint, like they supposedly were, then that would be easy to take down and get rid of and trash, recycle, burn, whatever, get rid of it. But if there are thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of tons of stone, where'd the stone go? How did they, you guys want to talk about, oh, they couldn't have built all this stuff. How did they tear it down? If they couldn't build it, how'd they tear it down and get it all out of there then? Where did they take it? How did they do it? Where'd they hide it all? Did they bury it? Like, let's think about this logically. That's funny. What did they do? How did they tear down all of the magnificent stone buildings, and where did all the stones go? That would be my question. Oh, they tore it all down. They didn't want us to know. Right. So anyway, that's what dinosaur eggs are in my opinion. Just concretions. China took it all. I think you should do a show where you just rant. Isn't that what I just did? Isn't that what I just did? Those pictures are forward progress. Which pictures? A good read is Noah Primeval series. It has Watchers, Nephilim, Archangels, so much better than Dumb Avengers. Yeah, those old stories, I find reading those things out of the Bible are actually very interesting. A lot of weird stuff happens. There's all kinds of interesting things that go on. Very interesting characters. I have to tell you, it is much more interesting to read the Bible than I was led to believe early on. So, anyway. All right, so we're at 12:36. Hey, Shelly. We literally live in the ruins. I don't live in any ruins. See, here's the thing. Have you seen Earth? It's freaking beautiful. It is so beautiful. Nature is so beautiful. I go outside and I see beauty all around me when I go anywhere in nature. So can anybody please explain to me how we live in ruins if it's so freaking beautiful and so amazing and majestic? Ruins? Get out of here! But how? You can't just say they got rid of it to erase history. Where did those thousands and thousands of tons of stone go? Where did it go? I don't believe we live in a prison planet. I don't believe we live in ruins. I believe we live in a beautiful, created creation made just for us that provides absolutely everything we need, and it just happens to have a big group of psychopathic shitheads trying to make it suck for the rest of us right now. And what we need to do is tell those psychopaths exactly what they can do and where they can do it. And then we need to just move on with our lives. They're still destroying them daily? Where? Show me where. Show me where. Because I don't see it. This world runs very well without people. You know what, Mark? I'm gonna go ahead and I'd like to disagree with that. Yeah, so anyway, I guess I'm gonna wrap it up. I feel like I've yelled at you people long enough today. I hope you all enjoyed yourselves listening to me lose my mind. And I hope I have encouraged you to second guess something, investigate it. Just take a couple minutes to investigate it before you hit that share button. I started doing that, and I started sharing a whole lot less stuff. And I started seeing through a whole lot more BS. You know, you gotta accumulate that wisdom. I know, I'm sorry, Shelly, but I've been going since 9:30. Where you been? Wind coming to the northwest. Oh, you think you might have bad connection tomorrow? Might do show via generator? Oh, goodness. All right, you guys. I guess I'm going to wrap it up. Closing the phone lines. Only one person called me because only one person loves me, and that's Tony Coriolis. None of you other people, you don't care. You just don't care like Tony does. I'm kidding. Anyway, thank you all for being here with me for another episode of Coffee Talk. I do appreciate it. I appreciate all the likes, shares, subscribes, support, whatever. I will be back here tomorrow evening at 10 p.m. with another episode of Strange World with Mark Sargent. And also don't forget, Stephen Carpenter from the Deftones is going to be back on Strange World at the end of the month on the 30th for episode 444. So that we got that to look forward to. And what else? Oh, you know what? Before we go, I need to give a shout out to what's his name? Lenny Von Speedcolt. Please forgive me if I'm getting it wrong, because he sent us some really cool stuff. He apparently does welding and metal work, and it's so beautiful. Let me just show you guys real quick. Look what he made for the chicken house. Isn't that awesome? Got a metal caulk for the chicken house. Pretty awesome. This guy does really good work. I was like amazed when I saw this stuff. Look at this. How cool is this? It's metal. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? So I'm definitely going to incorporate these when I set up my new studio somehow. And check this out. Flattoberfest. Look, it's like a metal Flattoberfest. Isn't this awesome? There's two of them. So, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these yet. I'll figure something out. But I thought they were really cool. So, thank you, Speed Cult guy. These are awesome. I met him in Vegas. These are killer. Thank you so much. The coolest. I really like this. I really like it. So anyway, yeah. Sometimes I get the cool stuff. Not always. Sometimes. All right, you guys. Okay, everybody, I want you to have a wonderful day. What else? Strange World tomorrow. Hopefully we'll be back in the swing with Globebusters Tech for Thursday and anti-religious scripture study for Saturday. And I didn't do one this last Saturday because Jack wasn't able to do it. So that's all. If you get a chance, if you're on Telegram, sign up to the link in the description, which is the Telegram group. It says The Rebellion. So that's my group on Telegram. It's the Flat Earth Rebellion. It is where I post a lot of stuff. I post links to the shows. You know, it's cool. You can file share and stuff. It's different than Facebook. I like Telegram better than Facebook. So there's a lot of cool groups. Like if you join it, you can join other groups too. It's not just mine. Jaren's got groups. Witsit's got groups. It's a cool little app. So that's where we're at. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Don't get brought down by the man. Don't let the man bring you down. Say, fuck you, man. You ain't bringing me down. It's 2024. And we're going to kill it this year, man. 2024. Woo! And for those who wish to send me stuff through snail mail, you can send it to P.O. Box 10, Earl, North Carolina, 28038. There are also links below for Flat Earth merch, and you can send me donations. And I do appreciate all the support. Sincerely, thank you very much. Also, please go to flatearthfestivals.com for all information about upcoming Flattoberfests and Flat Earth-friendly local meetups. If you are organizing a local Flat Earth meetup, email me at flatearthfestivals@protonmail.com with your meetup information to have it listed on the website for free. For everything else, you can email me at karenbfe@protonmail.com. Thank you for being here.